Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Hollistics. And you are watching. Oh, wait, and I'm your host. So I had this down pat. See, when you're doing everything yourself, sometimes it doesn't. Let's try it again. Welcome, everybody. You're listening to Hollistics. And I'm your host, Hollis-tics. Got to practice that. How's everybody doing tonight? It's exciting to be back. I was looking forward to this. You know, the only thing that is not good right now is that I am on a terrible schedule. I am like literally working the graveyard shift. I went to bed last night, or this morning, I should say, at like 7 a.m. And I am one of those people who, I'm checking the Rumble. I'm on here. I'm excited about this episode. Okay, it's on there. I am one of those people who need 8 hours of sleep, or seven. Today I slept 7 hours last night, this morning. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. I got up at like 2 o'clock. But like my day, this is just afternoon for me. It's just like starting really. So I'm on this horrible schedule. I've always been a late night owl, and I don't want to be. I want to be an early bird. An early bird catches the worm. But hey, it's not like I'm sleeping all day. I'm sleeping the amount I need, but it's just at crazy schedules and crazy time. So we're going to work on that together. So I'm just trying to figure out if I should, the way to break it is to just stay up all through it. So if I didn't go to bed by 9 o'clock, I'd be really tired and I'd go to bed and get back on the schedule. Or since I'm not tired at all, you have to force yourself to go to sleep at like 12 and then try to get up at 7 or 8 and get back on that schedule. So that's what I'm dealing with. But is anyone else out there on the graveyard schedule? Because I don't know, it kind of sucks. But again, that's just my own problem I have to figure out. Anyway, so as I said, consistency, right? This is day 3. And I want to talk about, well, first we'll talk about the title of my episode, what this episode is about. Now, I don't plan anything. But then, I'm like, what am I going to talk about on the show tomorrow? And is it just, should I just go with the flow? But then random things happen. Just 1 or 2 little things happen. I'm like, oh, I want to talk about it because, again, this is talk therapy. It's talk therapy for me. And I vowed to myself, I'm going to come on here every night. I'm going to be consistent, and I'm just going to be a voice, a real voice. We're just going to talk, and we're going to see where it goes tonight. And I had an idea. Well, like I said, it's because it comes from events that happen. So as you guys, if you watch the other 2 episodes I put so far, you know what's going on. And if you don't, just a quick little recap. I am a musician. I'm an artist. I do a lot more than that. I create content. I make videos. I do commercials. I do a lot of editing work. But basically my line of work is a creative person. So I am now, never took a break, but I wasn't in front of the camera for a long time because I was behind the scenes building and working and making all the content you see in the videos and the commercials. I've done every single thing. I haven't had a bit of help from anyone except my husband, but not even with this stuff because he doesn't do that. He does other stuff, but this is very technical and it took a long time to learn. So anyway, all that said, I am now back in front of the camera, and you're learning as you go, and nothing is ever perfect in life. So this streaming platform, we're going to apply this to some general life topics as well tonight, some relationships and people and life, but just in the streaming world. And I'm going to talk to you guys about it because I think tomorrow you may see a completely different setup because there's 2 things I'm dealing with. And this could be boring for some people, but we're going to compare it to life. So Streamlabs is wonderful. What you're seeing right now is a program I'm using called Streamlabs. And it took me forever, and I was very proud of the tip cup. The tip cup is so cute, and the little coins fall down. And thank you again to the people who have dropped a tip in the tip jar. As you can see, I'm at 17% right now. Every dollar that goes in, every time it fills, we're working to get to 100. And I said, I know I'm new and people aren't tipping and all that. And the people who have, I appreciate it so much. Thank you. But when we get to 100, and when that turns to 100%, I'm going to give away a painting, a lyric painting I did for my album. And anyway, but I was so proud of the tip jar. I love the little chat, even though I don't know how to get it all working yet. is if I push high in there, it should go. Look at if I put this is me putting it in there. Hello. It makes a little sound. And that it says Hollis Mahady, you need to get your magnifying glass out, but there I am. But it's very nice looking, right? It looks nice. I love the little animations and all that. But the drawback of this is that it's a complete nightmare off air. I'm trying to get it on Facebook. It's not going. I'm trying to get it on YouTube. It's not streaming. I'm trying to get it to my website. I'm trying to do all these things so it goes out easier. I spend all day stream keys, this. It's just a nightmare. Like literally 6-7 hours today trying to get it on YouTube, testing it. Then we enter StreamYard. Now, StreamYard does not have the nice little tip jar. It doesn't have the little animations, but it has another way of doing things where the system's built in, where it automatically goes to Facebook, it goes to YouTube, it does this. So my point is saying there's never the perfect solution, right? And that's in life too. I guess we could compare it to people, partners. This one is, they're very attractive and they've got money, but they're boring as hell, or they're not funny. They're like, so it's like relationships. So I am in a relationship now with StreamYard and Streamlabs, and there's more of these options lurking around. I'm trying to find the perfect one, and there is no perfect one because, like I said, there's good things about this one. The tip jar, we may have to sacrifice that and go over to StreamYards because what's more important? Well, what's more important in life? What's more important in a partner? Is it more important that they, have a lot of money? Is it to you? Is it more important that you want to be in the room with them because you love them and they're funny, or they're caring, or they understand you, or, it's like, what's more important? So I think my sanity is more important than a little animated coin dropping on there, because right now that's like the only reason I went through all this is like, I want to get that jar because people like to see it and it drops and it's kind of cute and it's like, but so we're going to try probably going to try something different tomorrow because I cannot go on like this. It's one of those things where it's like, time management. You're spending so much time on it and you're losing money because you're not spending time doing other things that could be making you money because you have a bad system and it's not automated and all this stuff. But I have to always go back and say, look how far you've come. And I think that we don't do that enough. As I said, we're hard on ourselves, and we can't just say the little victories because it's always like, what I need to be here and I need to have all the tip jars and all the. It just doesn't happen overnight unless you are lucky and you have a lot of money to pay a big team to help you. But we do everything ourselves, hopefully not forever. And we have some. So I got to basically set up this whole system that makes everything go smoother, where the emails are sent out every day. Hey, this podcast on. All that stuff needs to be set up. And that's why, probably why I have 2 views on some of these videos, because I haven't been able to like tell everyone it's here or push it out because I have to do all that. So we're working on all that. But yeah, so with relationships and stuff, and there's a reason I brought this up, because let's go to the title here of the video that is for tonight. This is episode 3, and I named it The Courage to Fail and Get a Normal Job and Other Terrible Advice. And there's a reason. And get a normal job is in a quote because I got a comment like that. So, but we're going to get into that. And then I said in my little episode description, this is on Rumble, and you can, you could read it there. It's the only place that I know that's working. So, in this episode of Hollistics, I'm diving into a comment I recently received telling me to get a normal job. It got me thinking about something much bigger than career choices, what we value in life, and what we're willing to risk to follow our soul. Why do some people chase security, money, and status, while others chase purpose, passion, and meaning? This episode explores the tension between heart and soul versus shallow material pursuits. I talk about the courage it takes to follow creative dreams, why failure is often part of the path to success, and why playing it safe can sometimes be the biggest risk of all. I also get into something a little more personal, relationships. What happens when someone approaches life, love, and even dating from a purely material place? And I have an example. We're going to get into that. What are men getting wrong when they think money is what attracts a good woman? Yeah, I think that's too, relationships. We're going to talk about, now, okay, I'm going to get into it. So anyway, it's all right there. And what actually matters if you're looking for something real. This is a conversation about values, authenticity, and having the courage to fail in pursuit of something meaningful. If you've ever been told to be more realistic, to play it safe, or to give up on something you love, this one is for you. And this is something, excuse me. This is something could talk probably for hours and hours about, because it relates to so much. It relates to who you pick in life as a partner. It relates to what you do in life and what's important to you and why people do the things they do. So we'll get into it. It kind of all sparked when I got a comment last night on one of my videos I had posted. And I told you in the other 2 episodes, I'm back in front of the camera, and for a long time I was building stuff, but I also was hiding away. I didn't want to get back in front of the camera really, or on stage again, because like a lot of stuff had happened in the past, and it really makes you doubt yourself. And I had a lot of deep things to go through and get the courage to come back. So anyway, with all that said, you're back, and now you get flooded with the hate comments. This one wasn't really hateful, but it was, I'll explain. But you put things out, you put your heart and soul, and no one's viewing it, or you get some views. I have gotten some views on TikTok and Instagram, and like I'm testing the waters, which one's working. You have to put it on YouTube Shorts and all this. And it's kind of funny. Like, again, I know I'm kind of all over the place, but it's funny to go back and say, which one went somewhere? There's some of my videos, they're like the same clips, and some of them have 0 views, 0. And then one has like 1,000 views. And I have no idea why. And people say, oh, it's not a mystery. Well, it is a mystery. Why does one of them have 1,000? One of them has 1. I don't know. So Instagram, some people have seen it, and I got a couple nice comments. But the ones that always stick out are the mean ones, right? Or the ones that are trying to bring you down. You could have like 10 nice comments, and that's the human brain. We're just like, you focus on the one that got to you. Why? Is it a wound? Is it something that you're like, you kind of wonder. But anyway. So the comment I got, I had posted my little reel, and I don't even know which one it was. It was like music versus machines. It was some reel. And there was this guy, and his name is Donnie. And I won't say his last name, but we'll call him Donnie. And he wrote to me. Now, he always writes to me, and I don't answer. because one is because he always writes to this other account where an automated message responds, and I never changed it. I need to change it, but I didn't have time. And because it's the account I don't use as much, but I will go back and see these messages. And there's a reason why. I usually always try to answer everyone, but there's a reason why for this story. And, I never answered him. And then I think maybe his tactic was, let me say something kind of like mean and see if she responds. And I actually even recorded a little video last night, but I didn't play it. It's on my other computer. Again, another pain about Streamlabs here. I have to import the video. It's just a pain. So we're going to get a better system going. So maybe I'll play it. But I decided just to talk about it instead because, you get mad in the moment. Not even mad, but you just kind of like, I guess, mad, And that's where they say, don't ever send something when you're angry. Be mature and let it breathe because you feel better the next day and you don't even think about it. For a second, it's kind of like, but it's really more because of this person and not even the history, but like there wasn't really much, but it was just, I'll explain. I know it's kind of, I'm all over the place. So the comment just said, as I'm posting these videos about heart and soul and coming back into the world, blah, blah. And it just said, get a normal job. And that sparked the idea for the whole podcast because saying that to somebody who does creative work, get a normal job. Now, what is a normal job? My definition of a normal job, I guess, is a 9 to 5. That's like your standard definition. A normal job. What is a normal job anymore? A doctor, a lawyer, a teacher. Those are 9 to 5. I mean, doctors are all hours, but you know what I'm saying. Or even as a server, I was a bartender and a waitress for many years. That was never normal. That was never normal hours. And people would say that too, get a real job. That was a job. That, people think that's easy. Waitressing isn't. And I think it could be fun though. I actually liked waitressing, and I did like bartending as well, because you met so many people. It was just right up my alley, and I liked it. It was fun. You made tips, but people said get a real job. I guess that's the thing. I have had real jobs, but the 9 to 5 job, I've never had a 9 to 5 job, but I've worked, and it's funny because actually just 2 or 3 months ago, I was thinking like, what else can I do that's going to really, I can make consistent money. Now this is, you're having, it's hard to make money as a creative when you don't have it all together, the code cracked, and I make money, but it's not consistent. You get gigs, little gigs here, you get paid for this or that, but it's not like a steady income all the time. You might get a couple $1,000s and then you don't get paid again for a while. So it holds you over. So it is work. There is income. There are jobs, but they're not a normal job. But I was never a normal person, so it's okay. And what was I going to say? I totally lost it. Let me think. This happens to me sometimes. And are people still watching? Forgive me. But oh, yeah, I was basically I was doing these courses online. I was like, I'm going to learn about the insides of computers, and I'm going to become a what's it called? A tech specialist, or I'm going to do, the cyber security and the IT work. Cause there's always jobs in IT work. So it was during the time we were moving, and I didn't have my computer, and I'm like, and I was spending a lot of time because Dan was working and he would have to go, and I didn't have all the stuff I needed. So I went on to Coursera, and I started doing these whole courses about the fundamentals of like tech. And I actually finished 2 of the courses. I started doing a boot camp, and there's a point to all this because it goes back to picking something. And it took me, a couple weeks, and it was kind of interesting. Like the craziness of computers, because we use them all the time, but what entails, like how it gets from here to there. I learned a lot about the behind the scenes, or what's inside a computer. And I wanted to learn it because I want to be self-sufficient. And I was learning about the RAM and the hard drives and what kind of computer to get, and even there was one video building a computer. I know about the parts of a computer. And then I heard something in 24, because I love that series, and they're like, the kernel's down. And I was like, I know what a kernel is now. I didn't know this before. So you're learning. And I completed 2 of the courses. It's like a 5 or 6 course, but I got 2 certificates. And then I decided, okay, I need to get a normal job, right? I need to get a normal job. So I applied. I just moved to Cleveland, and I applied for a IT service, like a very beginner customer support job. Because I have a degree. I have a bachelor's degree in communications. I'm a great communicator, right? I say a lot, and But I actually have a bachelor's degree in radio broadcasting communications and history. Believe it or not, I went to college. I have, I've been doing things, and I could have become a history teacher if I wanted to. I could have probably done a lot of different things. This is where I'm getting at. There's things I could have done. And even I end up getting the job. And it was like, I was like, wow, I could go and start, it wasn't, the pay was like, it's just starting off, but there was room to grow, and they were going to pay for the next boot camp. And it was kind of it was another, what's the word? You're at a crossroads. And it was because it was during a time that I decided to do this, because we were struggling with money. We just moved. We spent thousands of dollars moving again. And, you're just like, oh, I got to pay for all this stuff. So maybe I'll get the day job to support paying for all this. But always in your mind, you're like, God, I'm not going to have time to do anything. It's so hard. It takes so much time to build things and to make all this stuff. There's people who are building businesses. There's a long time that you don't get paid in between that. When you're recording an album, there's a long time before anyone hears it, right? Before anyone's going to click to pay the downloader or come see your show, because you're preparing, you're getting your instruments ready, you're, getting your set together, you're doing all this stuff. There's that time in between that you're not getting paid because you're building, because it takes your own time to do all this stuff. And that's where I've been forever. I'm like, I'm just building and building and building. So I was like, well, should I just get this job? I got the job and I could have done it. And it was like I said, it was a crossroads because I had come so far. We were just about to launch the Voice of the People website, the TV platform. It's on Roku TV. It's on Fire TV, the apps. I spent over a year building this. And, you know, I knew if I didn't devote my time to finishing it and to learning this stream, I wouldn't be here right now. This takes so much time. So I would have been just at that 9-to-5 job if I had taken it. Obviously I didn't take it. And it was like, I was literally the night before a couple of days, I was like, oh, should I do it? Should I go? And again, it's like, it's one of those things where people think sometimes, I think, oh, get a real job, you're lazy or something. No, it's like, I can't sacrifice my time and my soul. And I believe so much in what I'm doing. I'm willing to eat the ramen noodles or whatever I have to do. I'm willing to, I don't need the luxury. I don't even have a couch right now. Still don't have a couch because I've decided to pay the money I do make in the little gigs and things and what Dan makes. We're going to spend it on the streaming platform and all these other costs. The StreamYard costs this much. Our platform cost thousands of dollars. So all the money he made, what I had made, and it's gone all into this. You know, I've sacrificed other things. I don't care about material stuff. You know, yes, I'm sure I want a couch, but like, I don't really care. I had a couch. We had to sell it to get here. Like, I don't really care. I want the money and the resources you need it to build, to pay for this stuff. So, oops. I hate spam. This one's from Texas. I always get them from Las Vegas because I used to live there and that's still my area code. And then I moved to Maine, which is interesting. My area code was 702 in Vegas. And then moving to Maine, it was 207. But I never changed my phone number. It's still 702. I only changed it once in my life. I had a 570 from Pennsylvania forever. And then I was like, okay, I'm moving to Las Vegas. I'm never going back to Pennsylvania except to visit because I don't want to live there. And then coronavirus hit and I moved home. And I had a 702 number ever since. So that's life, right? I had changed my license plate too. I remember I was like, for 10 years, I managed to stay in California, never got pulled over. And I kept the PA license because the insurance was so much cheaper. So I managed to, I had the PA license plate forever. And then I moved to Las Vegas like 2 months before the coronavirus hit. And I changed my phone number and I changed my license plate. And then I moved back to Pennsylvania 3 months later. Comedy of errors. Right? But you just have to laugh. So it's okay. So anyway, where was I? This is talk therapy. So out there, those people, and this is something we always, I think creatives and people who are doing this kind of work always deal with, get a real job, get a normal job. But I think it's different now because there's so many content creators and there are people who do make a lot of money from content creation. Why do you think, you're building towards that? But there's so many systems. It does, as I talk about so many times, it's not just about making great content. Now, the next part of the puzzle is how do you automate all this? And then how do you get it out so people discover it? Because that's when you can make money. People start to find you and like you and maybe they'll throw a tip. And a lot of people, or they'll buy your album or they'll buy the Reconnection movement, like I'm not selling it, or if you have a book or if you have a product or you have a sponsor and they pay you, there is ways to make money, but it takes time and you have to be good and you have to, well, maybe you don't have to be good because some people, they're making a lot of money. They're not good, or you have to, sell out or know someone. But anyway, the point is, I think now this day and age, normal jobs are not even, it's not, it used to be like, being creative and doing this was very not popular, but now it's all different. People are making thousands of dollars on TikTok and YouTube and millions. And so it can be a real job because there's so much content out there, but now I'm off in another direction. But anyway, long story short, I came to the crossroads and I said, oh, should I do the job? We need the money. Should I do the 9-to-5? I mean, I could have done it. I think that was the thing when that guy said to me, get a normal job. I can if I want to, but that is also giving up your time to continue building and to continue doing what I'm doing. And I said, you know what? I'm going to sacrifice because I believe. I think that's the thing. I believe. And people who like to criticize and sit on the fence, or they look, oh, I have my money and I have this. Why don't you just get a normal job? They don't. Those are usually the people who I've found who never taken a risk in their life. And it brings me back to failure. Failure is not failure. It leads to growth. It leads to eventually it leads to success. I've always taken risks in my life, and some of them didn't work out and some of them did. I try to be humble. I don't brag, but I've seen the world. I've been to Japan. I've been to England. I've been to Italy. I've been to Portugal. I've been to Spain. I recorded at Abbey Road. I've taken risks in my life, and some of those risks did pay off. And I've definitely not led a boring life. I have a lot of stories to tell, and I'm going to tell some of them. When we're going to talk about this person, and not just him. That's why I said his name. I'm not going to say, I don't need to say his last name, but because he represents so many people I've met who think because you have money, or because because you have money, or you have the outer things that you think makes you happy. It doesn't actually make you happy, because I don't believe this person was very happy, and I'll get into that story. But what makes you pursue these things? And I learned at an early age, or not even early age, I learned as I went. You think you want these things. You think you need the big house. And yeah, it'd be nice. You think you want the 80 cars. You think you need the stocks and the bonds and the rental properties and all that stuff. And that's going to fill that void that's inside. And it was the greatest gift when I actually got success to me, because I was a musician and I always wanted to play big festivals. I always wanted to be on stage. I always wanted to be the rock star, and I got a taste of it, and I realized then, though, through all of that, it was a whole period of time where I got to a place where I had dreamed of being, right? I had broken through a little bit, and I had the big agent, and I had all the stuff, but there was also stuff missing. I wasn't sure who I could trust in that time. I wasn't sure. I wasn't totally being true to myself with my music in some ways. There was a lot. I was wearing masks, and I was, had the blonde hair, and I was always happy. And part of that was me. I was younger, and it was like, so I'm not hating on all of it. But the point is, you think you want that. And look at celebrities, examples, right? How many celebrities you hear of are like, oh, they're in rehab for the 80th time, because they have everything and they're not happy. They have all the material stuff. They have all this, and almost you have so much you don't. Then you really realize, wow, this doesn't make me happy. So the point is, sorry, I'm putting it on silent. It's just another spam call. The point is, it's always that thing. Do materials make you happy? Now, let's not fool ourselves. Money, people say money can't buy you happiness, but I don't think that's true. I think money definitely can buy you some happiness. I think it's great. It's a resource. You could go and do trips. You could pay your bills. You don't have to stress. So that's bullshit when people are like, money can't buy happiness. No, it can't buy happiness forever. It can't make it last, because you're always going to have that empty void if that's the only thing you think is going to make you happy. Sure, like money is great. You could get better health care. You could get all the fancy holistic care that everyone should be able to get, but can't really afford. You can go next door and get your boosts and I like doing all that stuff, but it comes at a price. So money could definitely make life more enjoyable. That's for sure. So I'm going to say, oh no, money, like, oh no, I'm a struggling broke artist. Who cares about money? Money is great, but it's not the most important thing. And I remember even this guy, it was during the time that I moved back to Scranton. And if you watch Holly's Playhouse, I'll play the video a little bit later, the commercial. Holly's Playhouse happened when I moved back to Scranton after when COVID hit. Remember I changed the license plate and all that? I moved back to Scranton. Never thought I was going to go back there, but the coronavirus came and it shut everything down. I was working my not normal job. I was working in a casino at weird hours, and I was actually just about to take on another job as a video person. I was learning back then because I wanted to do behind the scenes, and I had some stuff lined up, and I had just driven out there myself and moved to Las Vegas. And it was during the time where my dad was dying, and it was horrible. And I was going back and forth a lot to see him, and it was a hard time. And anyway, after he died, I did go back to Scranton for a while, but then I went back to Las Vegas because all my stuff was there. And at that time, I wasn't planning on moving back home, you know. But then the coronavirus hit, and it was March. It was like right now, March 17th. It's almost today, right? Today's the 16th. I think it was March 17th when the 2020. Wow. Right? Are the dates right? Like 6 years ago. And I remember I was going to it was a big day because it was St. Patrick's Day. And I remember thinking, oh, it's going to be super busy. Maybe I'll make some good tips because I was selling things and bartending and things like that. And I was like, oh, I'll make some good money tonight because everybody's out on St. Patrick's Day, make money. And they called and they said, don't come in, the coronavirus. And we know what happened. So Holly's Playhouse documents the whole thing. There's 10 episodes there. But when I moved back to Scranton, in episode 5 or 6, it shows me building this house. Not building it, remodeling it. Because when my dad passed, I ended up going back to Scranton, and my mom was living in a town called Clark Summit. And I was in Scranton by myself in the house that I grew up in back after all those years, 15 years in the industry and going back, and the whole story shows it. But I was back there and in the house where I grew up, where my dad had died, and all his stuff was there, and I had to go through everything. Yeah, and it was a lot. And it was like coming back to that after so many years of being away. It was just like stepping back into a different life that I didn't live. And I remember not reaching out to people, but it was like, because I left Scranton, so I didn't, like all the high school friends and stuff like that, like they went different directions and they kind of all stayed in touch, and they went cities and they were with each other and all that. And I had gone on a different journey. I had went to LA and New York, and I would live this whole crazy world that I went back. I was like, who's ever going to understand this? Like, I can't explain this to someone, who stayed in Scranton and has kids and has, their 9-to-5 normal job, which is fine. I'm not at all saying listen, my path was not, it was interesting. It wasn't that great sometimes, like there was a lot I missed out on. There's a lot of regrets I have. Not a lot, but there are definitely regrets, and that leads me to more philosophical. Was that the word? Philosophy? I'm getting philosophical here. Those questions in life of your path and your destiny and free will. And did we choose this, or did I choose this? Because I don't know why I did sometimes, but it is what it is. Here we are. This is our life. So anyway, going back into Scranton, now you're like, okay, I wasn't married at the time. I don't have any kids. So I went, but had this whole crazy world and this life and this experience, and coming back, I didn't have any friends. I was very alone. And I'm not going to talk about it because I'll get emotional right now. My cat, Tinklepaw, but we will talk about that someday. But she came, and she was a little stray cat, and she became my little best friend. And I was living in the house where I grew up. And my mom was not that far away, so it was nice to be close to her. And my sister was actually in California, and then she ended up moving back. So it was kind of like this little reunion. So of all the bad, like the coronavirus and my dad dying and all the bad stuff that happened, we ended up back. And so it was a nice period, but it was also a very hard period. It was confusing. It was sad. It was growing, and that's when I started to make Passion Productions, which was up in the attic upstairs. And I said, I have this whole house now, and I don't have to pay rent because my dad left the house. But then my mom came. A long story. But for this moment in time, I had this time that I took advantage of. And I said, well, you know what? This house, it was a gift, and I was like, I'm going to make this into something with Passion Productions, and I'm going to keep doing my dream, because not even a dream. I don't like to say it because it's not a dream. It's a calling. I'm gonna do it. You know, I'm gonna do my soul's calling, and I'm not gonna stop, and I'm not gonna give up. You come this far, and it's not even because. And at this point, it's different. I don't want to be a music star. I didn't want to, but I wanted to sing the songs in my heart because they were pouring out of me. I would, it was such a hard time. It was such a like emotional time, but it was a transformational time. Now looking back, that was almost 6 years ago today. Not that, that I left and I came back. So I'm proud here today to be on the other side. And I'm just being brutally honest here on the story. If anyone's listening or if anyone will see this, I don't know. But I'm just saying if you could relate it, we'll get it back to it about relating it to your own life. But these are the stories. And you go back and didn't have many friends. But now all of a sudden, like I'm back in town and some of these people I knew from high school start reaching out. And my idea, not even idea, but I needed help because I was going to start remodeling the house because I was planning on living there for a while. And, it needed some updates. There was old carpets and, we needed some new appliances and things like that. And my mom thought maybe eventually she would be moving there. We didn't know that at the time for sure. But I also needed some purpose as well because I was really sad being back there. So I needed to like transform it into something good. And I did. But it came with remodeling the house. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I had to I spent so many days at Home Depot. I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn how to I'm going to become what is it called? Not a designer, but all of a sudden, I'm just oh, I could, refurbish this dresser and all this stuff. So I ended up for a long time doing that, painting. I did a lot myself. Painted the whole house practically myself. But then I had some people from high school all of a sudden, and of course none of them were women, they were all guys who wanted to, they would message me, oh, you're back in Scranton. Oh, and are you single? And, I'm going to, you see where this is going. And when I could help you with that. And now I've lived, like I said, I've lived so many lives, and this is the way of the world, right? Women, men, can they ever just be friends? But I'm thinking, okay, these are people I've known since 5th grade. It would be nice to reconnect with some of them. And for the most part, I didn't be I need so much help. Will you come over here? And I remember thinking I have a small budget. I could pay someone because I don't want people thinking, and this is what they do. They think I'm going to help her with their house. She owes me. So I would always be well, how much do you want? How much? No, I don't want. This is not a favor. I'm willing to pay you. I don't have thousands of dollars, but I could afford a couple $100s a month. Can we do this together? I'll help paint. Will you help me? Because I don't know that. I don't have that tool, and I'm scared of saws, and I didn't want to do some of the things. But okay, maybe we could catch up. I know this person. I'm willing to pay. Some people, oh no, you don't have to pay me. Huh. But you think nothing ever comes for free, right? But I've always been one of those people who like to give the benefit of the doubt and say, well, maybe they are just my friend and maybe they'll help me because I need it. That's not the way of the world, sadly, and not the way with most men. Because I think, also people are busy. And remember, I wasn't 20. I'm older now. So a lot of people have families and houses and, and wives aren't going to be yeah, go help that girl and help her paint her house. So it was I think you're understanding what I'm saying here. Under the bottom line is there's always an ulterior motive. And as much as you want to think someone is out because they really believe in your vision and they believe in your music and they believe in your project, they don't. They just want to have sex with you. And and I've always said, and this will bring us to the girls and the friendship with your best friend, the guy, and all that. This always brings me to the point. It's I think all guys, it's wired into their brain. All guys will try. All guys, if they're attracted to you or whatever and they want to, have a relationship, all guys will try because as soon as the girl gives a signal yes, they'll be okay, yeah, I want to be more than friends. Most will say, I want that. But it's really how they treat you when you say no. You know what I mean? Because I get way more people have acted the other way than they haven't. But I'm still friends with maybe very few people who are guys that are like, that I wasn't interested in. But, they like my soul, I guess. We just get we're friends. Friends. And always, there we go, back to the conversation. Could girls and guys really just be friends if you're attracted or if you're not attractive? I know some guys I wouldn't say best friends with or anything, but they're, they're attractive, but whatever. They're cool, but we're just friends. Like, it never went there. And they were cool to me, and music people, whatever. And they're very few and far between. They're very, very rare, because most guys want to date you or want to have a relationship or whatever. So there's really not that thing like, I really believe in what you're doing. I believe in your music. I believe in your soul. I believe in your Holly's Playhouse house and project. I see the bigger thing, what we can do. I believe in your radio station. No, it's like, well, are you single? Are you married? Now I believe in you. That's how it is. And that's what I dealt with so much. And this all is just a story of, this is just how it is. And I'm sure there's other ladies in there too, and girls, and because it was always in Hollywood too. Oh, I really believe in your voice. I'm going to help you write a song. Code for something else, not writing a song. How many times you get that? Oh, I'm going to help you write a song. And they're never just there for the music. That's why it's almost so refreshing and nice to be back into it. And I am married. So it actually almost weeds out, and there's a lot less people talking to me because I'm married. Who cares? I don't have a chance with her because I need to pretend that I care about her music as long as I could eventually get to the goal line, which is getting with her. And I'm just saying just about me, so I'm so great or whatever. This is how guys think, most of them. Now, there are a few, so I don't want to stereotype everybody, but this is the game, And I'll give you some of my other tips later for love advice if there's any single men out there trying to get a good lady, or woman or girl, whatever you call them, whatever age they are, chick, But yeah, so anyway, I was back there in Pennsylvania, and I had a string of them, of a couple of people. And again, I'm not going to say names because it was just an interesting time. But going back to this one person in particular, this person had come over because this was the second person. And the first person had come over, and he did help me a lot with the house. And I did pay him. It wasn't a lot of money because I wasn't like, I can't afford $2,000 for floors. But I could buy the materials. I could pay you a couple $100 and I could do it with you. And then I saved thousands of dollars. You could hang out. I was drinking beer then, have a beer, have some pizza, catch up, and then we're paying the floor. And again, here's your money, because this is the arrangement. Like, don't think, oh, you're doing me a favor and then I owe you, because I don't. So that's really how it was. It was just kind of like, well, I'm home. The coronavirus shut down the world. People are not working. I'm like, I have a couple $100. I could pay someone, come over. And, the first person, that was more what it was like. And that was fine, And I'll tell another story because that involves the cat, but I'll save that for another time. But so then the second person comes around, and I remember, see, I'm a creative person, and I get very excited about my visions and I'm like, we could make this into a playhouse. This is going to be awesome. Like, look, we could get artists to come and record. And this is how my mind works. I'm like, look at all the rooms in my house, and we could get people from, New York City could come and they could record at Holly's Playhouse. Like, this is all the things I had in my head. And thinking, and we could get creatives here, and it could be a really cool community. And look I'm connecting with people from high school. Maybe we could build something really cool. It's like my peace and love and hippies, and we all come together and we have fun, and, and thinking that someone else was going to understand this vision. I mean, I didn't try to tell them to, but they come, and he's like, oh yeah, you're building this play. This is so cool. And I could give you a projector to help you. I have some projectors and I have these. And I'm like, oh, awesome. Thanks. Like, donate, cause I want to make this a place for, a place, like, I really wanted to make the top of the house a recording studio. And then I had like bedrooms where I was making themes, because I had lived in New York and LA, and it was so expensive. I was like, if I can make this a destination, maybe some people will come, they will record. I was recording mine. These things work, but this is outside thinking. And this is, people who have normal jobs and don't think about these things, they probably wouldn't really get this. But I think my point is maybe they were pretending they understood this for ulterior motives. That's what most people have. And so now this person had come over, and I knew right away. I don't know. You could just, I don't know. You want to hope for the best. You want to think, okay, maybe they do get it. They believe. And at the time, that's the thing. You're vulnerable, and you need, and you're looking for a friend. I didn't want a relationship. I really didn't, I wanted a friend, and guys, can do things. I mean, whatever. A lot of girls are strong and they could do their own things. But there's certain things I just didn't know how to do. And I just I like getting a drill. And I learned I have a pink drill, and I do drill things now. And there's a lot I do. But I'm not always one of those girls who are like, I have to do everything. Like, there's certain things I just don't care. And I don't want to learn. I don't want to know what the drill bit is. I don't, and I've learned some of it so I could put up my paintings. I'm not totally like, I need a man. But at the same time, there's certain things I just whatever. That's what a guy does. You could carry the heavy stuff. I could carry some of it, but muscle and all that. You could do it. So, so the guy came over, and like I said, I wanted to think, okay, but you just know, you can smell it a mile away, they want something else. And I just wasn't interested. It was nothing really against him. I wasn't really into him or it just, whatever. I was into my vision. I wanted just someone who was like, oh, let's do this together. Like I said, it was during coronavirus and stuff, where the world was shut down. I think when he came along, I don't know if he was still working or something. Maybe his thing wasn't shut down. But whatever. But, kind of lost where I was again. Well, hold on. Before I go on to the story, let's see, is there anyone watching or any comments here? Here, let me just play the Holly's Playhouse real quick, the commercial. And I strongly advise you go and watch the show. Okay, I'm going to play it. Hold on. Holly's Playhouse is a raw, real, and emotionally charged docu-style miniseries following the turbulent journey of me, singer-songwriter Hollis-tics, who left Scranton, Pennsylvania in 2010 to chase stardom in Hollywood. For nearly a decade, I fought to make my mark in the entertainment industry until 2019, when the world changed overnight. Told through a lens of humor, heartbreak, and hope, this is a deeply personal series that captures the highs and lows of a creative spirit navigating sudden change. If you want to check it out, head over to www.vopusaradio.com. Just go down to the Arts and Entertainment channel and you'll find it there for free to watch. One more, just in case. Are you enjoying the podcast? If you'd like to support what I'm building, you can buy me a coffee. Every bit of support helps me keep this podcast going and release my music independently. You can leave a one-time tip or become a member for a few dollars a month and unlock exclusive content and behind-the-scenes footage you won't find anywhere else. Just visit buymeacoffee.com/Hollis-tics or scan the code you see on the screen. All right. So, yeah, I just played the commercial and I checked my Rumble. And I want to say a big shout out to MAGA Dirt Biker. Hello, Hollis. I just made my new compilation video for you guys, and hopefully you will get that. Oh, I can't wait to see it. And I've been a happy loner these 57 years, but I value the friendship that I have with both of you very highly. Thank you. And right back at you. And that's what I'm talking about too. Friendships and soul connections and just, things that, going back to the story, that I longed for, just a friendship. And, and it's again, goes back, can a guy and a girl really be friends if they're attracted to you and you're not attracted to them? Or, can someone really just say, you know what, I respect that, but I like I like your soul. That doesn't, yeah, right. That doesn't happen that much. So, to have a soul connection. And that's why I love being married now, because I found my soul connection. I'll get into that later. But and that, it's such a great story. And I'm so happy. And I love him so much. And he's he's the best. But we have a soul connection. We have a friendship. It's friendship. We're best friends. And I'll get into that. But and I longed, and that was during that time. And I was so sad, having left the whole music thing and having to face myself, and after my dad died, I lost the cat. And then it was just oh, and you wanted a friend. But because I didn't have a lot of friends, and then all these string of these things kept happening. And then I'll get even later, I met this other guy who's like trying to set my yard on fire. It was like so bad. And, and then another one, like, so eventually I was like, okay, what's wrong with me? I had to take a look at myself. No, I don't want any, forget it. I got to search inside. I don't need anybody. And then not that long, we'll get into it when I met Dan and everything. But again, picking on this guy, like I said, I said his name is Donnie, but I don't need to say his last name. But Donnie is the face of a lot of people I've met over the years. And it's just one of those things where, going back to his comment of the normal job and things like that, it's like easy for someone to say. It's easy for someone else to say who hasn't walked a different path, who hasn't lived it, or maybe haven't taken risks of their own. Because at that point, he's very, interested in me, and he would ask me things like, well, what do you look for in a guy? And, and I was being nice because I wasn't interested, because what I look for is soul. I look for soul. Like, I don't care how much money you have. I've lived that lifestyle for a while. I've been around millionaires. It didn't really impress me. And it goes back to the very beginning of this podcast when I said, what's the perfect person? What's the most important things to you? Because these are the things you learn. And especially women, they have to go through all these people and learn, like, oh, that guy was hot, but gosh, they were freaking boring. Like, or you know what I mean? And then you learn, well, you know what? I don't need a freaking a playboy, whatever, who's going to be cheating and who's like, who doesn't even care about my emotions, or who can't talk to me, but they're hot. And I think you learn that as you grow, like, what's most important to you. And through all these people I met, I was like, the biggest thing that's important to me, there's a few, but like the biggest thing was like, there's two. I don't know which one's more important, because there was two. There became a third one then. One was probably sense of humor. Like, you can't be around someone who just does not get your humor. And I'm weird, and people, like, I don't meet a lot of people who get my sense of humor, but that is so important, because you have to be able to laugh. And the second thing that was like a deal breaker anymore was like, for me anyway, this is not maybe the requirements for other people. This is my thing. I need someone deep. I need someone who is soulful and who realizes, like, that about money and everything. Money is not, you can't buy love. Like, money is not, I didn't really care, and then it goes back to, like, this is like an advice for guys too. Like, girls don't like broke guys. They don't. Like, it's just like, but then there are girls who are just gold diggers, who have they have no substance, they're vapid, they're shallow, and they just want that rich man. They don't, because maybe they don't really care if they understand them or they're funny. They're like, no, I want the purse, I want the flights, I want the house, I want that lifestyle, and they're the gold diggers, but when I say girls don't like broke guys, because, girls do want to be taken care of, or they want to feel secure. They want to because it's manly when a guy has money and they could take care of you. But then you get the gold digger. Like, some of the girls, they don't want to do anything else. See, with me, I was always doing my own thing too. I want to contribute. I want to help. I want to whatever. I didn't want someone to take care of me. But my point is saying, like, you want to if you're looking for a good catch, you have to have your life together. You don't have to be rich, but you don't want to be like a broke bum, like smoking weed all day and an alcoholic. It's not attractive, So get yourself together and then try to find the girl. But the way to do it is to truly be their friend first. But then you fall into the friend zone, right? Oh, then there's those sad stories where the guy's like, oh, I'm in love with that girl. And then she's always looking for the other guy who has the money and who's like better looking or whatever. There's so much, right? This is like the love line episode. But like I said, and the reason why I can speak to this, I had so many bad relationships. And then eventually I had to say, well, what's wrong with me? Because we could blame all those people. And they were so bad and they were toxic and they're a narcissist and they're horrible. But why did I pick them? It really comes back to you. It comes back to your self-worth, what So that's what I've learned through all that. At the end of the day, you don't need someone else to fill you and all that stuff. But anyway, back to the story. But from the very beginning, I kind of felt bad, because I was nice. I'm not a mean person. And when I did my little reply video, because I was kind of mad at the time, maybe I'll play it, but I don't have it. Maybe another day. But I don't like being mean to people. So I didn't want to flat out say it's because you're being materialistic. I don't care how many things you bring over. I don't care if you give me, and it was nice. He gave me projectors for the Holly's Playhouse, which are very expensive, and I appreciate it. And I was like, well, thank you. I want to use them in the rooms and put videos up and I appreciated that. But again, were you giving it to me really because you weren't using it and you cared, or was it because like I gave you those? You didn't give me cash, but I gave you those. Or I could do, it's just like, that's the kind of stuff that pisses me off. And that's like most of life. People don't want to actually just help you or do anything nice because they expect something or they want, get in your pants and all that as a girl, and that's just life, That's why I'm always like, no, how much does it cost? What do I like? How much is it to do this? But so, yeah, I mean, that's just really what it came down to. So I just could see it right there. And it's just kind of like, you can't, to some people it works, to some women you could just say, oh, I have all this money and you'll get them. But will you keep the woman? Because I don't know, some, like I said, some girls just want to be taken care of and they don't want to have to work and they don't want to do anything and they just want the guy. But if you're looking for, more than that, you got to have something bigger to offer than just money. Like I said, I'm not like, money helps. Money will attract the person, but will they stay? Because, and that goes back to me, which I do feel like I'm a rare person because I had the chance. If I played my cards better, if I was smarter, I probably could have married someone really rich and been living, but I did meet rich people and I went out with a couple rich guys. And again, I'm never going to say names. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but I went out with one guy who was really wealthy, but he was so boring. Like, I was just like, oh, great. We could go out and I could order anything off the menu and we could go to here. But I didn't want to be around him. He was boring. It was so boring. Now, because I need depth and I need connection, and my mind's always like, I like to talk about the deepness and questions of life and all that, and intellectuals, like, to me, that didn't work. Now, if someone else went out with them, maybe they don't really need all that stimulation in mind and stuff. So, hey, there you go. So, you know what I mean? So that was the thing. It was just like, he would ask me sometimes, well, what do you like in a guy? And like I said, I didn't want to just say, well, not you, because you're just caring about money. I think it was maybe he did long for a deeper connection, or he wanted like someone smart, or he wanted this, but he was just saying, well, I have this, and I'm thinking that's not how you're going to get a girl that you're looking for. Now, if you have this stuff, then go, flaunt your money and get it. I don't even think this person had like was a millionaire or anything, but but if you want something deeper, like you have to be deeper. But you can't. Can you buy soul? Can you buy heart? Can you buy passion? Which goes back to my original title of the video here. Why do some people pursue money and all that? And why do some people, I don't pursue money. I want it. I need it. But it's not my driving force, because I know at the end of this is my belief. You can't take it with you. And no one gets out alive. We're all going to die. And then all your stuff is left as someone else's. Maybe you leave a house to someone, or you have other stuff, and it's sad because then like a lot of the stuff you have to give away. It's just like, so life isn't for materialistic pursuits. That's me. And I see that it's just the most important thing to so many people. And I do understand the pursuit of money because they make it so difficult to enjoy life without it. You can enjoy life, but when you're constantly struggling, can I pay the rent? Can I pay the bills? It sucks. When I did go out with rich, like people had loads of money, like you had like, you were more lighthearted because you weren't always worried. How am I going to pay that? 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 So, I get it, but at the end of the day, these were things that were just non-negotiable, not like I couldn't, I really don't care about money, because to me, it's just like, I want, like, someone would never understand that. Back to the comment, get a normal job. That's like saying that to someone like me is saying, go and kill your soul. Like this is not a choice. Sometimes people think that like, oh, just go get that would be me giving up on what I believe was put in my heart from another place, from God. To me, I don't care. I have to be true to myself. I have to. And I will do what I have to. You know what I mean? Like if I have, sure, if I have to go take an IT job because I can't, like I'll do what I have to do. I'm not at that point just yet. But, it's just like, I will not. And some people just don't understand that. Well, get a real life. Like, what do you mean you don't can't? I would rather be having less money and be true to myself, following my dream, following my passion, taking risks because, a lot of people who have businesses or who are successful, they were always starting somewhere, and I did have to start over. So I wasn't starting from scratch, starting from experience, but I was starting over again. And that leads me to where I am today. Even just here, this is only my third episode. And I have a lot of kinks to work out, but I have so much stuff and so much content and writings and things, and products and all that stuff. It's all in the works, but it just doesn't happen overnight. And it's those building years in between where you're struggling for the money and you're like, it's always time versus money. I could go get the money, but then I don't have time to do it. That's always. And I think a lot of artists and you guys know that. So it's really just what matters most to you. We're, going back to relationships and it's all relevant. It's all relevant. And I am Hollis Mahady and this is my show Hollistics. I don't know if anyone's out there, but I'm getting more comfortable and I'm just kind of chatting. And again, like I said, I don't like to be mean. So I don't want to be like, well, screw that. You have no soul. You have this. It's just like, well, work on yourself. Like it doesn't matter how many times you go to the gym. And that's good. Go to the gym. That's part of working on yourself, but that's physical. Okay, make more money. Again, physical. Well, what do I do? Like, I don't know. It's like, don't just think with your mind. Like, use your heart. And I don't really care. It's just an example, but it's like, even the videos I was putting out, they're very meaningful. Like, to me, and most people don't care. But, it's like saying support artists. Like, have you ever listened to music before, Donnie? Like, there's people out there who've made that music. Yeah, maybe it's just the famous people you have, like that you got, like their albums, the Billy Joels, this, that. But all those people, they did make it. They got lucky or they had talent, but they got a break and they were good. And now you have their music. But they all started just like someone like me or for like other people. It's like you just consume and you don't think of, and I say it, think of the soul behind the song. Think that there's a person there. There's a person that's sacrificing so they can give you something. And that's why I say you get a comment like that. We'll get a normal job. It's like, it's just like, fuck you. It's just, sorry to curse. That was my one curse word. Sorry. But that's how I feel. It's just like, how dare you? I took risks. I take risks. Because I believe that because I think the most worst thing in life and the biggest mistake, if you don't follow what's in your heart, if you don't do your passion, if you have one, or if whatever you are, a singer, whatever, starting a business, whatever it is, if you don't at least, and maybe you can't do it all the time because like life in the 3D world, the Matrix and all that, you have to do that other stuff, of course. But if you deny yourself that, you're going to be unhappy. You could fool yourself. I've said this in another video. But you could fool yourself all the time. But you can't deny what's in your heart. And why should you have to? Again, it brings me back to what this is designed to do. Get a normal job. Go into the Matrix. Go to the 9 to 5. Be depressed. And why are you depressed? Depressed is a suppression of energy. You can't get, it's an outlet. Music, art, cooking. It's an outlet. That's something you really like. That's in your heart. That's in your soul. It's something you need to do. And that's why people say when they're sad, they do art or they write poetry and they write in their journal or they do a video and tell someone up. Like, you have to get it out. Because if you don't and you bottle it up, depression, it's the suppression of energy. It can't go, it gets sad. It gets sad. It's sad because I died with my song still in me. That was something, and I can't play it right now, but maybe I'll bring it on tomorrow. It's a Dr. Wayne video. I love Dr. Wayne. And I have a song. And it starts with the lyrics, don't die with your song still in you. Don't die with your song still in you. Don't want for the line to rhyme. If you got something, don't let it slip away. It's basically saying, like, someday is today. fire away. Don't wait until tomorrow. You know, and when you lose people too, you realize like life is short. I don't want to die with my music still in me. I don't want to, and if it goes nowhere, no one ever hears it. This is for me as well. Like I said, yes, I create for other people because I want other people to be able to enjoy it, and maybe it saves them, or they hear a song that moves them, like "Hole in Our Hearts" or "Eden Shire" or "Shadow Dance." I love my songs. I'm so proud of them because it was such a journey. It was such a journey to get here. And I wrote them all myself, and I went through hell. Oh, you can't write songs and you can't do this. And I said, yes, I can. And I did it, and I'm here. And you can do it too. Like Tony the Tiger, right? What's he say it? You can do it. Didn't he say that? Or you can do it too or something? Maybe that wasn't him. You remember Tony the Tiger from Frosted Flakes? But, it's just don't hate when people quit their dream. I hate it. I'm getting another spam from Las Vegas. Shut up. It makes me so sad when people give up because it is hard. It is hard. This world makes it really hard. So I always call it the 3D world. I have in my little notes here. But yeah, Dr. Wayne, I will find that video. Dr. Wayne is he was one of the first spiritual teachers I discovered. And he had a book called, it's like Manifesting Your Life and stuff and all these steps. And he says, he would always say, he figured it out, but then there's all these books, just manifest it and the law of manifestation and the law of attraction and all that. And just think positive and it will come. I've tried a lot of different things, and some of it works and some of it's just like, so people could sell their self-help books. You can't just manifest good energy all the time. There's darkness, and there's a lot of dark in the world, and you can't just hope something comes. You actually have to work for it as well. But I do believe in energy and positive vibes, and I believe putting things out will come back eventually. It doesn't always line up and are on your timetable, but I think as Dan always says, don't be a crappy person, and good things, better things will happen. But life happens outside of you. It's all the stuff that's happening outside of you. Does that determine how you feel inside? It's hard. It's hard because we know that, but you have to, it's very hard to stay grounded. And like, that's why the 3D world, they're at it again. Here comes the tax bill. Here comes this, here comes that. And you're all happy. You're singing a song. You just read a Bible verse and you're like, and then you're like, tax bill, or something happens, or your car just got a ticket. And you're just like, boing, back into freaking the Matrix and the 3D world. That's why I always had my I like to live in I think in different ways. Like I'm always like, okay, there's a 3D world, and then there's like the God, the spiritual, the God, But then there's also those people who are just like, everything great. No, bad vibes, babe, bad vibes. And it's like, no, this is life and you can't escape it. It's toxic. Like you got to go through the shadow dance. That's my theme of my album. About shadows and light and going through the darkness to find the light. But at the end of the day, that's why I love my album. It's called A Comedy of Errors because, you have to go through the dark. You go through all these dark and in these toxic relationships. And then what's the comedy of it? Those errors. When people say that, it's a comedy of errors. Errors is another word for what? Mistakes. Failure. You might think it's a failure, but it's not a failure if you tried. It isn't. And that sounds like, what is that saying? Like, doesn't matter as long as you tried and all that stuff. But you still think of it as a failure. Because I could think, oh my gosh, I went to Hollywood and I didn't make any money. I didn't make it, but I did all this other stuff. I'm a failure. Like you didn't fail. And you can't always succeed and finally get to that next part of the journey if you didn't fail. And I think the thing is you have to do again. You can't look at it as failure is bad. Failure is actually good. People don't look at it like that. You beat yourself up because you failed. But without failure, there's no growth. You learn from that mistake. Even like I mentioned it, the Love Zombies band. We did a pledge campaign. We made a lot of money, but we didn't spend it wisely. And because of that, not just because of that, that's why I think the album never went anywhere. Failed. Because no one ever really heard it because we didn't have the right, guidance, and we didn't know at the time we should have used this half of that money to get it out there. And we didn't. Was that all a failure? No, it wasn't a failure. When we made great music, I had great fans. I did have some good experiences. There was a lot that was going on. Was that a failure? Do I have to look at it? Oh, I failed. No, I didn't fail, because now I'm taking what I learned then. Now, okay, my album's done. I paid for it. But what did I learn from them? Okay, maybe I do it again. Do the buy me a coffee, because last year my Patreon failed. Did it fail? No, I'm like, you have to just try again. No, it's always learning. Okay, just this. You can't stop. And failure is a good thing, because it tests you, and you have to learn, and you have to learn from it. Even we're always learning, even with our new platform, our TV platform. I spend so much time on this thing, and it's not what we want. It's not right. It's not what we need. Do I look at it and be like, oh, I failed? No, I say, okay, I learned so much. But we need this. We need this thing instead. We need this because I learned from this that this part doesn't work. Now I could look at it and cry and say, oh my God, I spent almost a year and a half on this platform. But I know that it's not ultimately exactly the right fit, like the platform that we need. I know what we need now because I learned this. So I could look at it and be like, oh, I failed. My point is saying you don't know if you don't try. And you have to, you're always gonna fail. Things don't work out as you planned. But you can't look at it as failure. I look at this is what has always saved me in my way of thinking. You just have to look at it as growth. Oh, another lesson. Oh, this, that. Now, yes, granted, there's some that I'm like, I wish someone would have warned me. Oh, don't buy a house. Well, yeah, I learned that the hard way, and it cost us a lot of time and money. And then there's some things you just have to learn your own way. Just like if you have, your kids, well, they have to learn the hard way. My dad would always oh, she's going to have to learn the hard way. He'd tell me, don't touch the stove. Don't touch the stove. You're going to get burnt. But I was always like, I want to touch it. And I got burnt, and that because you have to learn and go through it yourself, just like bad relationships, right? How many times do you hear mom say, oh gosh, she's going to get her heart broken. I don't want her to get her heart broken. You try to stop her. The guy can't come over because, the bad guy, going to ban the guy. The girls are going to want them even more because you have certain ones you just can't be protected from. You have to go through it. How many heartbreaks, how many bad relationships until you say, oh, no more. I'm done. So that's the story with that one. Let's do another commercial here. So, wow, I've been talking for a long time here. Right. If anyone's out there, any girls, questions, we're going to get this better where I'm going to have the chat from the other rooms coming in. I do have a phone line that we could take some calls. Maybe we'll do relationship lines. You go into the toxic stuff because I always wanted to help people as well. So I've been in bad relationships, and it all boiled down to when you look at it now, when you're out of it and you've lived through it, why you were attracted to certain people. I was attracted, I went out with alcoholics. I went out with a drug addict. I went out with, what are they really horrible people or something? Or did I pick them? What was wrong with me? Did I not think I deserve better than that? Did I hate myself? Did I think, So these are the things that, especially relationships, because our whole life is relationships. I say you know a lot. Okay, let's go and look at Comedy of Errors, right? This is my other podcast. I said this is what the music's all about. Wait, where did it go? Here it is. Here, take a look at this. Take a look-see. I'm pulling back the curtain to let you in on a truly rare behind-the-scenes experience. Welcome to the Comedy of Errors podcast, your exclusive look at the music, the story, and the journey that goes into making it all happen. This podcast is for those who want to go deeper, explore the themes of life and music, and be part of something truly special. For just $10 a month, you'll get access to this one-of-a-kind community and help support the release and promotion of my new album. If you want in, head over to buymeacoffee.com and become a backstage member. This is the only place I'll be sharing this journey. See it all unfold in real time before it's released to the world. I can't wait to share this with you. It's been a long time in the making, and we poured everything into building this platform. But the past no longer matters. What matters is what we do from here. This was built by everyday people, sick of being suppressed, censored, and banned. It wasn't built by far-removed millionaires or trust fund kids. It was built by people willing to take a stand and create a space that actually matters. We're calling on those guided not by ego or personal gain, but by purpose and drive. People who don't ask, how can you help me? But ask, how can we help each other? Too many times, the world rewards those who take without giving back. We want something different. Our mission is to lift voices that have been silenced, to share the stories that rarely get heard, and to create a space where freedom, truth, and authenticity thrive. This isn't just a network, it's a community, a movement built by the people, for the people. The next chapter is about collaboration, courage, and amplifying what truly matters. That's where the future begins, and we want you in it. This one's my first single coming out. And I'm back. You're listening to Hollistics with Hollis-tics. Oh, Joe, thank you so much. I just saw the coins drop. I was just reading your comment on the break. Aw, thank you so much. Thank you. You seriously don't have to, but I appreciate that so much. Thank you. And Joe is Mega Dirt Biker, and he says, I don't care about money either. I'm extremely conservative with mine. I managed to save, but I'm happy and content with what I have and not looking for a pot of gold. And I am doing just fine. My secret happiness is contentment. Just like Dan, I like the F-bombs. I only dropped one so far. But what did... Oh, okay, yeah. So thank you so much. Look at that. Now we're at 22. We're at 22%. Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much. Thank you. Like I said, guys, if there's anyone else listening, you drop a coin in there. That coin cup, I'm gonna simulate, like, what's it called? Not simulate it, or replicate it another way in StreamYard. I'll probably spend all night doing that. It may look a little different tomorrow, this setup, but I got to figure out how to get it out to everyone. But 22%, look at that. That's awesome. When we get to $100 in the tip jar, like I said, that I will do the drawing from the tip jar, and someone will win a hand-painted lyric sheet. But thank you again. Thank you so much. Anyone else out there listening, and if you enjoying the podcast, enjoying the free relationship advice from someone who's been through a lot and who understands, guys and girls, maybe not I don't know, who's been through a lot and has some words of wisdom. I think I have wisdom now, and I think I could pass on my wisdom to some people. So if you are enjoying it, if any of my advice helped you, or you like it, or you want to support, feel free. The link is right there. It's on the top there. It says streamlabs.com/VOPUSA radio/tip. I don't know if you could copy and paste that. Otherwise, you could scan it with your phone on the screen, which I think is stupid because a lot of people watch on their phone and then they can't scan it. So I don't really understand the point of that. We need a better system here. Like we said, if Dan's dad's watching, it's not easy. We got to make it easy for people, right? Because people are like, and it makes it hard. It makes it difficult. There's no link. There's no capability to just have you be able to click something and go there and make it easier. But we're really trying like hell to try to make it easier to do this. So we'll get there. We'll get there. But for those who are a little more tech savvy and maybe are watching it on a computer, if you have your phone, you just put your camera up there, a link pops up, and you could click on it. Or you could go to www.hollismahady.com, and there's a link there for Buy Me a Coffee. It's actually in the corner there if you want to buy me a coffee. Like I said, any money I raise it goes to support the podcast. It goes to support my music. And be using any money I make to put it out there and to figure this crap out. So I thank you again, Joe. Thank you so much. And yeah, so this was like, I ended up talking a lot, and someone else put a comment on my on my video, and I just wanted to address it because it's in the same vein. But before I go to that, let me just finish up the Donnie story. I don't know. Maybe he's watching this. If you are, I think it's just one of those things where it's soul. And I think, maybe you wrote that comment to try to get my reaction because he wrote a lot of messages and I don't answer them. But I saw that message on the thing, like get a normal job. And I think it was to elicit a response. So, what I realized? I have a microphone now and this is talk therapy. And there's so many stories. I have some entertaining stories, at least to me. I think I've led a very weird life, a lot of stories and a lot of music stories. So that is where the Comedy of Errors podcast is specifically for my music. And I tell about all these celebrities I met and all this crazy stuff that people probably wouldn't even believe, but it is true. So that's for that podcast. But my point is, again, I don't like to be mean. And I think that people are on different, journeys in their life. And maybe that works for you. Some people don't believe in God at all. And they think this is what we're here for. It's only material. There is no afterlife. I don't care. I will do what I need to do to get ahead. I need the house. I need the money. And that's their perspective. That's their right to, that's their journey. That's not mine. So for me, I don't really care that much about money. You need to have soul. It's good to have money. And for the men out there, if you really are looking for a girl who isn't a gold digger and doesn't want you just for your money, because there are a lot of men who know people, they're just a gold digger. Like they want someone also who's like a good catch. They want a girl who's independent and does some of her own stuff and can bring in her own money and not just using them, because guys get used all the time too. She's just using him. She's just using him. So if you are a guy who has money, it's good to have money, but don't make that your biggest thing. Then don't try to get the girl with money. Like don't try to catch her because, I'm going to buy you this, this, and this. It's attractive. You want to have a job, at least you have a car. Like, come on, these things are attractive to a girl, but like, then to look deeper, are they just using you for your money? Because that happens all the time. I hope it happens both ways, and then there are the girls, the successful women who end up having these leeches and users and losers who don't have a job, who are unemployed, who feed off the girl because they give them attention. And that again goes back to your self-worth. Because I've had other relationships too where I felt like I was paying for everything and I was putting up with this. And then I'm like, why am I like, again, I've had, I've looked at myself a lot and I learned a lot about myself through relationships, So I think the best relationship truly is like a 50-50 relationship where it's a true partnership and it's a friendship. And what I've learned again too also is the biggest thing I think for a relationship that lasts is you have to be compatible. That's a thing too. Do you have similar like dreams or visions or lifestyle? You have to be compatible because that's what will keep you together. Like it goes deeper than, just money or whatever. You have to really like when I met Dan, we had a similar lifestyle. Like he had dreams and passions like me. We both didn't really want to stay in Scranton forever. That's where we met and we lived, but I wanted to leave. If I was looking for a guy back then, like they have kids now and they don't ever want to leave Scranton. I was like, well, I still have things I need to fulfill. Like even if they maybe were a good personality or whatever, they're like, that wasn't going to fit. That's not compatible to who I am, to my lifestyle. I wanted to, I still felt like I had a lot of things to do that were not going to, I couldn't just settle down and buy a house in Scranton and pop up a bunch of kids, so like that wasn't really I couldn't have that. So it was hard because you would meet people who were, some of them were no, most of them weren't, but I was gonna say some of them were good people, some were decent people, but not really. And so that wouldn't have worked. So compatibility is a big thing. I'm older now, so it's different trying to meet someone when you're older when you're younger. So if anyone is watching this, probably not. But if you're younger, take the advice from your wiser Hollistics over here, the lady on wherever the heck you might see this on Twitch or on YouTube. Like if you are younger, think about these things. Spare yourself some heartache and some misery, and be careful. Think about what you really want. But again, you have to learn for yourself, and you might not know what you want until you experience what you don't want. So there's a wisdom from Hollistics, from Hollis Mahady. That's me. That's me. I'm Hollis Mahady. HollisMahady.com. Check it out, guys. Check it out, please. Yeah. Oh, so to get to that other comment, what did they say? Oh, okay. So one of my videos was about the AI taking over, and someone commented, "It's a nightmare. Life's a nightmare." And I know who this person is, and she's actually a wonderful person. But I understand why she says what she says. And we could get, and again, philosophical. I always say it wrong. We're doing philosophy of life here. You know, do create your own reality. Life can, the Matrix and this life. I had a lyric in one of my songs for Love Zombies, and I remember it was called Bummer. The song was called Bummer. And it's funny because I think in the UK, bummer might mean butt or something. But life's a bummer. Life's a bummer. You're bitching and you're moaning. You just know it's going to bring you down. And then there was one verse, and I remember the bridge I wanted to write. I was like, it had a cool little melody. And it was like, this could be heaven or this could be hell. It's what you make it, right? Because your outside sometimes reflects your inside. Not always. Because I think there are some things that just, you're in a bad location, you're in a bad thing. But like, if there is that, we could create our own reality and we could change things and we could write out certain characters, or your life might be hell because you have a really bad toxic relationship. This is just an example. But you get out of that relationship, all of a sudden your reality is getting a little better. Is it hell as much? So we create these things too. Life could be heaven or it could be hell. Be careful what you create, because at the end of the day, we create it. We pick this. And certain things, your circumstances, you can't change in this. But is it all hell? I think Earth is a battleground. I think it is hell. And sometimes, like, this is hell. The way people treat each other, the way, I think in my own mystical, magical way, like, oh, like, I wish people could just be nice and come over and help you paint, and they're there because they like it and they like the paintings and the elves and the fairies and everyone. But that's not life. That's not life. I wish it was. Life would be so much better, but it's not like that. It could be hell, but I think, again, the inner reflects the outer. I've always remembered that, what's going inside projects outside, or you have to change yourself inside for the outside to start reflecting that and seeing better things happening and stuff. So, and I get really deep and into like conspiracy and why they're doing this and the Matrix and why it's done to us. But Dan is all about that. So we'll do another episode on a different show about that. But remember that it is designed. Like I said earlier, my example, you're doing all good and you're having a moment and you're feeling good or whatever. You just had your nice coffee and cereal and it's okay. And then you get a comment and you're like, oh, or you get, like I said, something in the mail, or someone just called, you have to move out of your house, or you're, oh God, this just happened. And it's like outer world, all of a sudden it's like takes your mood away and you're like, oh, life's a bummer, So that comment, it made me kind of sad because I do understand it, but I hate when people feel like that, because my biggest thing is always, and this is why I keep going and fighting and this, because I feel like they want us to be defeated. And when you say they, who's they? Now we can get really deep. Who's they? Well, if you really want to know, go to my buymeacoffee.com. I have a PDF all about it. And they, some people not into it, whatever, but who's really controlling the world? How does this all work? What is it? Who's and why are they controlling us? And why do they want us to be unhappy and depressed and energy and all that stuff? Why do they want us down and broke and defeated and broken? Easier to control. So, and that's what my song Covers is about. It's about, you don't want to let them win. And the biggest way you don't let them or anyone else win, and it's not easy, but the biggest, best way is to laugh, is to be happy. And I know it's hard, right? How do you be happy when it's all happening? You have, like, think of some, like, go deeper, have a connection with God, have a connection with something that matters, have a connection of heart, of soul, of what matters. because that will make you happy. Laugh. Comedy of Errors, it explores the light and the dark. I'm the clown, but I'm also the servant. You know, you're the happy little like, oh my God, we have fun, I like that. But then you're dragged into dark depths because you're like the servant and you're chained to somebody or something, or you're chained to yourself. We're all just twins, right? It's like, oh, the devil and the angel and your consciousness and your psyche and your the dark and the light. You know, there's so much darkness. And then if you think about past lives, if you believe in that, have we been here before? What did you do? Then there's karma and there's this. Oh, this is the stuff that really gets me excited. I don't know if anyone else does, but this is nice talk therapy. Oh, the dance of life. The dance of life. It's a tangled web we weave. The dance of life. Light, dark. I was just reading this, like my whole album's about this, but shadow dance. They say we're very, a lot of people are dark, and the darkness is something you can't escape, I don't like being dark. I don't like the way it makes me feel. I don't like the negative. I hate it. But I was so many times in my life, I just was in it. I was felt like dragged into it. But then I'm like, is it me? Is it me learning? I have to face the shadow. You have to face your shadow. The shadow is the darkness, but you can't run from it. Because if you run from it, you'll never learn. You'll never grow. You'll never be able to integrate it. I remember reading something they say. It's Carl Jung. He's that, as a psychologist guy. And this is all entwined in my album, The Comedy of Errors. The shadow is that dark part of you, the part that keeps going back to the abusive partner, the dark part that, I don't know, that keeps negative, like, oh, that's never going to work. Like, it's the dark part, or that addiction. The shadow is that dark part. But instead of ignoring it, like, that's why a lot of people who are alcoholics and stuff, I don't think they can stop, because they could stop maybe for a while, but it's always still nagging because they didn't actually face what is it that's making you drink? What void are you trying to fill? What's empty? Because the shadow is that it's the void, it's the darkness, it's the lack. The light is when you're able to realize that void can't be filled by anything. It cannot even alcohol, not a person, it can only be filled by love, heart, and God. Now, again, some people don't believe in God. This is probably not for you, because I do believe in God and I believe in higher things. But, because I had a drinking problem for a while. I went to AA meetings in LA. Really, it was because I wanted to meet people who didn't drink, which brings me to my third thing. I always wanted to find a partner who didn't drink, because I had tendencies. I had drinking tendencies, like a bad. I grew up in Scranton. It was always beer around. My dad drank and stuff. He wasn't an alcoholic, but it was always just a lifestyle. And I would escape through alcohol, but the problem never goes away. So you have to face yourself, which is very hard. And I'm still facing myself, I haven't drinking in over 3 years now. It was so hard. It was like, I was very, I don't know, maybe I was an alcoholic, but not like, beer, the point to black out. There's things I'm not proud of that I did, and I'm glad I don't anymore. But it's because I was trying to fill a void. It's a void. It's a sadness. It's a void. It's a void that is filled by love and by God. And we come down to this earth, and it's not godly, and it's not, this earth is not godly. Like, you do not get rewarded for doing the right thing on this earth, I feel. You're a good person. The nice guys finish last. You do the right thing. You get screwed over. The people who are trying to fight corruption and expose the bad things happening, they get screwed over. They get shut down. It's not rewarded here. It's all a backwards world. So this world it's all just freaking mirrors and weird. It's like everything's backwards. Even in Love Zombies, that was a backwards world. It was another song I wrote. Everything inverted. Everything here. That's why you say, is life heaven? Is it hell? Is it hell here? I feel like, I feel like this is a test. Earth is a very hard place to be. It's heavy, it's dense, it's thick, the energies. And then let's throw the people running the world is very dark. I mean, they're controlling us through frequencies. Oh man, I could go on and on and on. But we're just tapping the surface here at Hollistics. But, so heaven or hell, and that it brings me back to one of the songs on my album called Edenshire. Oh, I love this song. And Edenshire is a phrase I didn't make up. I found that from a spiritual teacher. His name is Michael Miradad. He's one of my absolute favorites. Um, he's he always talks about these things and questions. He does a live stream every Sunday from the Unity of Sedona. It's for Christ consciousness, and the way it's not like a religion, it's not a church. He just like talks about the question of life and he talked a lot about this stuff, the shadows and the light, and Edenshire was what he said was, heaven on earth, finding your own while we're here. Does it have to be so miserable? There's the easy way and there's the hard way. Now, if you always, okay, what's the end goal? Oh, nobody gets out alive, right? Oh, what happened? Well, you guys aren't supposed to see this. This is my green screen. How the heck did that just happen? Hold on. Let's go to a commercial break real quick. And I will fix that because this is what's really behind me, guys. This is a green screen. Okay, hold on. Oh, it's back. That was really weird. What happened? Here, we'll take a little commercial anyway. And then we'll talk more about Edenshire. Here.
Download your free copy of The Reconnection Movement today. Just head over to my website, www.hollismahady.com. Go to the podcast sections, scroll to the bottom of the page, and enter your email to get your free copy instantly. Now more than ever, it's important that we reconnect and support real human creators and real people. Are you liking the music in the show? The music you hear in my videos and during the show is licensed through Epidemic Sound, an amazing platform for creators. If you make videos, podcasts, or content of your own, head over to hollismahady.com, go to the podcast page, and sign up for a free trial using my link. And if you're just a listener looking for new music, you'll also find my playlist of favorite songs I use in this show. Signing up through my link supports the show and the musicians too. Hi guys, I'm Hollis, and I'm here to bring your creative vision to life. Whether it's designing your video thumbnails or editing your content or recording voiceovers for commercials, I've got you covered. I'm part of the in-house production team at Voice of the People U.S.A. Radio and Television Network, and over the last 6 years, I taught myself everything from production to post-editing and beyond. I know exactly what it feels like to be stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure where to even begin. And that's exactly why I now offer these services to other people as well. So if you have a project you're working on, you can hit the link below where you can see examples of my work, from commercials I've produced to voiceovers and more. And if you like what you see and think I can help with what you're looking for, feel free to reach out. We can create something awesome together. 15 show slots are now open on Voice of the People USA Radio and Television Network. With millions of monthly listeners worldwide, VOP USA is accessible on Roku TV, Fire TV, Android TV, the mobile apps, and the web. An alternative to oversaturated, algorithm-driven social media. Our network is the first streaming network backed by creators, not big tech, not special interests. This is true independence. To learn more, visit VOPUSARadio.com. Join the network.
And I'm back, and you are listening to Hollistics with your host, me, Hollis Mahady. Oh, my gosh, thank you. So I see a coin in there. And I saw on the, when we went to the little break, I'm able to check my phone. And Tim says, I tried sending you $3 to get to 25%. Thank you so much. But Streamlabs wants $6 a month to be able to tip. Is that true? That's BS. So I bought you. Thank you so much, Tim. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Buy you coffee like that. The guy. You reminded of the guy. Well, I'll have to check on that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much because I just saw a coin drop in there. But it's at 22. It's awesome. Thank you so much. I'll get how do I like my coffee? We're drinking this peanut butter creamer. It sounds kind of gross, but I was like, peanut butter, I don't know. But, they all have those artificial flavors and all that stuff. But I don't know. I've tried to do natural coffee with just almond milk. I've tried that rise thing, and it tastes like crap to me. So that's one thing. I'm just like, well, You can't escape it, right? You're trying to get killed every way, from the sugar to this to that. It's like certain things just like, okay, in the coffee, I don't put so much sugar, but I know there's sugar in the creamer. So, but yeah, I used to drink coffee black, and I never really did. It gives me a headache. But thank you again. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. If there's anyone else watching out there, apparently tipping in that way is I don't know. It's harder, but if you scan the code there, or if you go to buymeacoffee.com, my website, if you go on my website, it's right in the corner there. And yeah, I'll have to check that too, because I have to get the money somehow. It's just a pain. There's these things in there to transfer the bit. Like, then you think, are they going to get the money? But I do get it eventually, but it's just like, it's not like you just get it. But anyway, we're working on all these kinks, but I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Joe. And a big shout out to Dan's dad if you're watching. And to everyone else. Elias wasn't here the other night. And, anyone else I'm forgetting. But yeah. So yeah, that was me getting into I was going to say, did you see my commercial there for my creative services I offer? Anybody? I offer creative services, and that's a real job. So a normal job, maybe it's not a normal job, but it took me a long, long time to make all those videos and to put those landing pages together. The thing is, I could, and that's another thing, I could be working for someone else. Like, I know I could. I could do a lot of things I wasn't able to do before. I could build a website. I can, I do voiceovers. I've done voiceovers, but AI comes in and people want to use robots instead, which does not sound the same. I make thumbnails. I could make digital books. I could work for other people. I don't want to. It's so time consuming to make all this stuff. I make it for this and for our network. And yeah, I don't get paid for that because it's a labor of love at the moment as you're building. But the whole point is to turn it into a business. It's getting there. We're getting there. But again, so when someone says get a normal job, it means quit your dream. You suck. And it's like, no, I believe in myself. And, it's just a matter of time. So it's just like, it takes a long time when you build something of substance and what you're, something valuable. And I do believe I have a lot of value to bring into the world. And it's just a matter of time before people find it. And even just that, like I said, I want to consistently come here every night and just be a voice for the real, for the humans out there, for the people who are alone. I've always thought it's a sad, hard world, and people are freaking mean, and people don't care about anybody, not everybody, but it's just, as I said in some of my other videos, it's few and far between the real connections. People don't honor their word. I'll be there tomorrow and I'll meet you, and they don't show up. And oh my God, I used to live in LA. That was just like, you just know you'd never see them again. That was like the LA thing. Oh yeah, man, let's meet for coffee tomorrow. We had this great time today, and we met and we shared stories and laughed, and I'll see you tomorrow, and you never hear from them again. Like that is, and it's just like, huh? And then I remember when I moved to the UK, they were so much different. I have to say, I didn't love the rain and some of the stuff there. I didn't love the UK, but I loved a lot the people, the fans. You guys are good people. Good people. Like, they were just like, I'm like, oh my God, you're not like Americans at all. You're like, when they say, oh, let's have a cup of tea, we'll meet, they mean it. And they meet you, or oh, I'll buy your music, and you get home and you see that they actually bought your album online. Like, different. I find a lot of cultures are like that. Like a lot of, like Ireland, they were very nice. Irish people are so nice. I mean, and again, I'm categorizing and making in bulk. No, there's good people, but you just find the different lifestyles, and it's just, maybe it's a little more simpler over there. I don't know why people are the way they are. But, just finding that humanity and finding like morals, and I wasn't always like this. I'm sure maybe it's karma back in the day when I was younger. Oh, who cares? Don't call them back. But even now, it's just like, if you make an appointment, I'm like, let's try to cancel it. I feel bad, like, because I don't like when people do it to me, and the people just always do it. So it comes back. Treat others as you would want them to treat you, If you made an appointment and you can't make it, at least call and let them know. Because this day and age, it's like, oh, who cares? But there's someone else on the other side of that appointment, or that someone else who made their time to carve out time for you, or, So I don't know where I was getting off on that. But yeah, it's 8:44. So I've been here for almost 2 hours already. So I guess with that said, maybe I'll start to wrap it up. I look forward to this every night now. I think it's fun. And like I said, I've already said this, but I'll say it again. I want to be here for other people. Oh, that was what I was saying. Like I think it's very hard to find those people and those connections and people who care about each other for the right reasons, for the soul. Like I started this whole video with, you can't just be someone's friend with them trying to have sex with you. You can, but there's not that many, and also it's not always people's fault. People are busy, and they have families. And when you're older, it's harder to find connections because people already have, I already have my family. I already have my wife. I already have my kid. I don't need friends, so I think that's, again, you can't blame people. And also it's the same thing with a girl and a guy. It's just like you're married. And if your husband's out, has a great new friendship with someone else, you're like, oh, are you cheating on me? Or, it shouldn't have to be like that, but that's human nature, but so I think it is hard to have friends as you're older, and that's why I want to have a community here. I want us to be friends. And I said, I know Joe. I know we never met, but I feel like we know Joe. We care about Joe. Like I know Tim. I care about Tim, Aaron, Amy. Like you guys are my friends, and maybe we don't live far away. And the people you never met sometimes are better friends than people you know. Oh, I'll get into that another time. My so-called friends. Yeah, right. Takes a good friend to be a friend. That's what my mom used to say. It takes a friend to be a friend. So when you're on the other side of a friendship where they just take or they don't care or they don't show up, and friendship works two ways. So maybe we'll talk about that another day. That's another one, friendship and what friendship really is. Are they just there when things are happy for you and they're there for the ride? Are they there in the downtimes? Did they just show up when things are going good? They're called fair weather friends. That's what my mom used to tell me too. Fair weather friends. Oh. What does that mean? When the weather's good, they show up. But when it's raining and stormy and you need a blanket, they're nowhere to be found. I think we all have people like that, right? So anyway, after this, I think you're probably going to see tomorrow maybe a different setup. Maybe say goodbye to our nice little coin jar. Oh, I love the coin jar. It was so nice to see little coins drop. Maybe we'll find another way. We'll find another way. Well, I have a little applause button, so we'll do like an applause. And because I got, again, it's very hard to see. Even Tim said he did a donation, but I can't see. So thank you so much. And yeah. Okay. So with that, I guess I'll call it a night. I mean, I don't know if anyone else is in here. I mean, it's almost 9. And I'll go 5 more minutes. Because I was thinking, do the show every night at 7 and don't put a time limit on it. I'll probably go till either 9 or maybe sometimes 8. But just every night at 7, consistently, I will be here. I will be your voice. I will be here. And like I said, we're going to get guests. But even getting guests, this thing is a freaking nightmare. So it's going to be a lot easier in the other program to have guests on. Again, guests or the coin drop. In a perfect world, we could have it all. But here we can't have it all, I guess. Not right now anyway, but one day we will have it all. But we already do have it all. Remember, the powers are within you. And are you going to create heaven or hell? You going to create heaven or hell? Because life is beautiful. Life is good. And it should be good. And it's allowed to be good. And you're allowed to laugh. And you're allowed to sing. And you're allowed to be you. And you're allowed to take off that freaking mask and just be real. And the right people will find you. And maybe there's not that many, but how do we really need them? Do we need followers? Like I said in my other video, I want people to follow me. I want people to join me. I want people to help me. And I want to help them. I want to help them. I want to help people. I've always wanted to help people. And that was always I always felt happy in my soul when I was able to, I don't know, make someone happy, like smile or laugh or whatever. Sounds cheesy, but it's true. That's what life's about. Like, have empathy for people. And it's so lacking, have empathy. Take a minute, it's just quantity. Oh, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. I can't call. I can't. It's just, and I'm not perfect. I'm guilty of that sometimes, within touch with the family or something. Oh my gosh, I'm busy. But nothing's guaranteed tomorrow. You might not see that person again. God forbid. We take life for granted. Say, what are you grateful for? Every day, just say, like, I do say that. And I say it to Dan all the time. Like, I'm grateful to have eyes. Like, I'm grateful to see. Some people are blind, they never got to see. Some people are deaf. They never hear music. Some people can't walk. If you have those things, you're ahead of the game. Even people getting older, aging, and I know you have back problems, and then you're still alive, and there's always something to be grateful for. But they make it hard. Oh, I don't have enough. Oh, I need this. I need this. We don't. We have everything we need. If your health is your wealth, and each day you can choose. And it's like I say, it's not always easy. Things that come and they mess up your day, but you can choose, how am I gonna live today, or how am I gonna let that bother me, or you can choose to be grateful, or you could choose to be you could choose to not be grateful. But when you're grateful, and you come from a place like gratitude, like, thank you, God, thank you for today, thank you for the air in my lung, thank you for I'm breathing, I'm not sick, thank God. Just thank God every day. So those are my words of wisdom here on Hollistics. And we're very excited. We're at 22% on our cup. When it gets to 100, we'll do the giveaway. And I will be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock for all you real humans out there who are looking for a little connection. And we'll talk more. And I'll take questions and comments and things like that. If anyone has questions, we'll just pick a topic, or we'll just see where it goes. And to wrap it up to that guy, like I said, Donnie, I hope that if you do see this or listen to it, just like anything, just look inside. And if you're looking for love or whatever you're looking for, find it first inside. And don't, money can't buy you love, can't buy you happiness. And a normal job is boring. And I've never had a boring life, and it's been hard, it's been difficult, it's been a little weird sometimes, but it's never been boring. Ask my mom. She'll say, oh my gosh, Holly, what are you up to now? Oh, well, that's for sure. It's not boring. It's definitely not boring. We keep it interesting here. We keep it interesting here on Hollistics, on Voice of the People USA Radio and Television Network. Remember, guys, go over to www.vopusaradio.com. You can watch some other shows on there. On our network, we're broadcasting live from vopusaradio.com. We're on Roku TV, Fire TV, Apple TV, and the apps. So if you download the app, VOP USA Radio, in your app store, it'll come right up, and you could save your shows and be notified so you never miss a beat, and you never miss an episode of one of your favorite TV shows or your new streams. So go over to vopusaradio.com, download the app. It's free to watch, and there's so much in store. So I will see you all next time on Hollistics, which is tomorrow at 7 o'clock p.m. And I will do the closing video here of one of our favorite songs here, Lights. And this is, what was this, the band, Tim, I told you, Mercy Street or something? I love this song. It's a beautiful song. And it's saying it. And I think I picked it because you listen to the lyrics, it's like, we're all holding on sometimes. Some days we're holding on. We're just holding on by a string, by the rope. You're holding on. It's easy sometimes to give up. It's easy to let go. It's easy to not sing the song inside your heart, but be true to you and sing that song. And that's why I picked this closing song. I think it's very appropriate. So I love you all. Enjoy, and I will see you tomorrow on Hollistics. Here we go. Good night. Thanks for everything.
Thank you for watching Hollistics, hosted by me, Hollis Mahady. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to share it with someone who might need it too. And if you'd like to support the podcast, you can visit buymeacoffee.com/Hollis Mahady. You can make a one-time donation or become a member for just a few dollars a month to get extra podcasts and exclusive behind-the-scenes content you won't find anywhere else. or simply scan the code on the screen. Your support truly means the world to me and helps me continue creating independent content for you. If you like the music featured in this show, I license it through Epidemic Sound. You can head over to hollismahady.com, click on the podcast page, and use my link for a free trial. And don't forget to check out VOPUSARadio.com, where I host my music channel and am building a growing community of independent musicians. If you're interested in joining the network, just click Join Network and submit an application. Until next time, remember that you are loved and never alone. From human to human, big hugs. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Enjoy the outro video. I love this song.
Lights shining from the window late at night. I'm just watching someone else's life go by, wishing it was mine. Dreams, everybody has them at the start. Somewhere along the way they fall apart, and it makes it kinda hard to look up at the lights. When the lights go out, everything is clearer. When the lights go out, I could finally see what it's all about. Standing in the mirror, when the lights go out, it's you looking back at me. Try your best to hold on to the rope. We all have a reason to let go, and it's easier to do, but it's better if we don't. When the lights go out, everything is clearer. When the lights go out, I can finally see what it's all about. Standing in the mirror, when the lights go out, it's you looking back at me. When you wish upon a star just to find out it's a plane. And when you think you've come so far, but you're standing still again, and you finally understand. When the lights go out, everything is clear. When the lights go out, I could finally see. When the lights go out, everything is clearer. When the lights go out, I could finally see what it's all about. Standing in the mirror, when the lights go out, it's you looking back at me. Hope, try your best to hold on to the road. We all have a reason to let go, and it's easier to do, but it's better if we don't.
I love you guys. Have a good night.